Verse 85. उद्भवः सुन्दरः सुन्दः रत्ननाभः सुलोचनः अर्को वाजसनः शृङ्गी जयन्तः सर्वविजयी उद्भवः सुन्दरः सुन्दः रत्ननाभः सुलोचनः अर्कः वाजसनः शृङ्गी जयन्तः सर्वविजयी Udbhavaha, superior birth, or really speaking, having no birth. Sundara, beautiful. Sundaha, merciful. Rattanavaha, beautiful navel. Sulochanaha, charming eyes. Arkaha, one who is to be worshipped. Vajasanaha, giver of food. Shrungi, with horns. Jayantaha, conqueror, always victorious, Sarva Vijayi, omniscient and victorious. Udbhavaha. Udbhava literally means superior birth. Actually, it means one without any birth. But as such, he incarnates at will in any form. It means one who has, by his own free will, manifested himself by himself for the service of mankind. It also means the very spring of creation, the ultimate source. Udbhava may also refer to the self, Sri Mahavishnu, as one dynamic witness in whose presence alone all the vital activities of life are energized. They gush forth, express themselves, and manifest themselves. Now, Supreme, who is called Udbhavaha, is also described as Sundaraha, one of unrivaled, incomparable beauty. Now, Sundaraha, when you say the Lord is beautiful, Lord is of the most enchanting beauty. Now, the beauty that we normally understand in the world is beauty of either proportion or symmetry or simply the tender charm which we see in the object of observation. In the object we are seeing, we may see beauty in these respects. In the mind of the observer, when we feel something is beautiful, what actually happens is, in the minds of the observer, the rhythmic grace in the proportion, or maybe the smooth, pleasant peace in the symmetry, or simply the joy of ecstasy which ripples out from the object. That is what we perceive here. Now, the observer's mind, what happens is, in such a situation which is sensitive, which is aesthetic, it simply quietens. You feel so happy, you feel quietened. And in such moments of supreme inner satisfaction, the flashes of beauty will flood the bosom and we feel thrilled. But in the case of Mahavishnu, the beauty is not in the object, nor is it in the mind. It is the manifestation of that which is behind the mind. That is Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu is enlivening power behind the mind, because of which we get feelings and emotions. It is because of the presence of Mahavishnu within us that we see some object as beautiful. The infinite reality, this particular infinite reality, this super consciousness, which we call Mahavishnu or Narayana or Paramasiva or Mother Goddess. Now, this is glorified in the Upanishads as Shantam Shivam Sundaram. That is peace, auspiciousness, and beauty. Now, the Supreme, who is said to be of unrivaled beauty, that is Sundaraha, is also called Sundaha. Sundaha means one who has great mercy. Sundaha means merciful. Now, we are human beings. Because of our weaknesses, we are reflection of the vasanas which are hoarded, accumulated in our personality, birth after birth, birth after birth. And these have accumulated, generated, multiplied because of the because our own egocentric, extroverted activities, our focus on the outside world, focus on the sense objects behind which our senses are always running. Because of these vasanas, they keep on multiplying. And only when a devotee turns to the Supreme in total surrender, only then these vasanas get purified. As the devotee moves gradually more and more towards the Supreme, the Lord, in His infinite mercy, forgives us of all the sins which we may commit in our ignorance. This is called avidya. It is an innocent ignorance, avidya. Supreme God is merciful, He will forgive everything. The Supreme of such unrivaled beauty is also described as having a beautiful navel. Ratnanabaha. Ratnanabaha literally means one having a beautiful navel. Now, this is very, very symbolic because entire creation represented by Brahma, the creator, has originated from the navel of the supreme being, that is Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu is always depicted as lying in a reclining position on Adisesha in Kshirasagara, and and a lotus is emerging from his navel, and on the lotus sits the Chaturmukha Brahma, the creator. So the navel of Mahavishnu, which is the point of origin of the Brahma, the creator himself, is described as like a shining jewel, Ratnanabaha. Now, the Ratnanabaha, the supreme being, is also described as Sulochanaha, one having charming, beautiful eyes. Again, the literal meaning is Sulochanaha means one having charming eyes. Now, again, you have to understand the beauty of the Lord's eyes, which is basically the beauty of the Lord's eyes, is for a devotee who focus on the Lord's form, Lord's physical form. A person who is focusing on Lord's physical form, for such a duty, for the devotee, the God appears as Sulochanaha, having beautiful arm. But a devotee or a person who is a deeper student of contemplation, more spiritual than emotional, for such a person, the beauty of the Supreme does not is not because of its form or expression or color. Beauty which a student of contemplation is able to see in Mahavishnu is because of the ability of those eyes to see constantly, clearly, universally. What is the unit basic initial purpose? What is the infinite purpose of creation? And what is the goal of this creation? If this aspect is can be seen very clearly by the eyes of the deity, naturally those eyes are considered charming. In that sense, it is Sulochana. Therefore, Sulochana means one who has the infinite wisdom, wisdom of the self. The Supreme Being is worshipped by everybody, including Brahma, as Arkaha. Arkaha means normally sun. The sun is one of the ancient first deities which are found in our Vedic scriptures. He is considered even to be the creator himself. The sun has been given so much of importance in our scriptures because sun is a source of light and energy. Because of sun is only we get the illumination. Because of that only we are able to nourish ourselves. In one simple sentence, we can say the entire life on the earth depends upon the grace of the sun. Now, the Supreme Parabrahman is compared with the sun, is infinite consciousness is compared with the sun because here the Supreme Being is illumining not the physical world, but He is illumining our internal world. He is illumining the experiences our us. Because of this, we are able to see, we are able to talk, our senses are activated, our minds is able to feel, the intellect is able to think. All our experiences are alive only because of the infinite consciousness. This illumines experience of all the people at all places and at all times. It is the thrill of all living creatures, the bubbling enthusiasm of all living creatures, their nourishment and their nurturing, everything depends upon the Supreme Being, Mahavishnu or Parabrahman or infinite consciousness. Once that spark of life leaves the body cannot even be maintained. It simply degenerates. That is why it becomes what is called a shava. Okay. Now, the Supreme is a giver of food for all beings by way of nourishment. It's called Vajasanaha. Vajasanaha means giver of food. He is the one ultimate force which sustains, supports, and nourishes all living creatures in the universe. In Bhagavad Gita, this is described beautifully two verses, verse 12 and verse 13 of chapter 15. In verse 12, Bhagavan says, as the sun, yat adityagajam tejaha jagat bhasayate khilam yat chandramasi yat chagnau tat tejo vidhimamakam. Bhagavan says, he is the light. He is the one who's energizing the sun. He is residing in the sun, which itself illuminates all the world. The Bhagwan is a light which is there in the moon, which is which actually is a sort of a reflected light of the sun. But source of the light of the sun is the supreme being. In fire also, the basic spark, basic glow, basic energy is nothing but the supreme being. That's what Krishna says. The light residing in the sun, which illumines the world, the light which is in the moon, and the glow in the fire, know that light to be mine. No, because of sunlight only, as we know, the entire earth, life on earth is sustained. Now, second, the fertility of the soil, because of which the plant kingdom is able to survive. And because of the plants, the animal and human beings are able to survive. This is possible only because the food value in the vegetables, in the vegetable world, in the herbs, is derived from the moon, the light of the moon. Bhagavan says, Kama Vishyacha Bhutani Dharayami Aham Ojasa Pushnami Chaushadihi Pushnami Cha Aushadihi Sarvaha Aushadihi, all the plant kingdom is nourished by me. Dharayami Gama Vishyata Bhutani. Gam is earth. By penetrating the earth, I am surviving. Dharayami, I am supporting. Bhutani, all the living beings. I am doing that. Ojasa, by giving Ojas, the power. the energy. I am doing that. Permeating the earth, I support beings by energy, and by having become the juicy moon, I nourish all the plants. Kama vishyata bhutani dharayam mojasa pushnami chaushadhihi sarvaha somo bhutva rasatmakaha. The Supreme not only sustains the beings but also takes care of Mother Earth. He is called Shrungi, horn. Shrungi means having horns. Now, this can refer to the Varaha Avatara in which Mahavishnu lifted the earth from the slush in which it was stuck because of the waters of the Pralaya. Or Shrungi can also stand for Matsya Avatara, in which also Mahavishnu had a horn with which he pulled a boat in which all the Sapta Rishis and all the essentials of the human beings were preserved. It can also refer to Krishna, who has a peacock feathers on his head. It like a shrunga, like a horn. You can see the peacock feathers on Krishna's head. Whatever may be the reference here, generally speaking, we refer to as a Varaha, the boar incarnation of Mahavishnu, which helped the world to be lifted from the fleshly condition. In this way, he is able to help the Mother Earth and also all living beings on the earth. The Supreme Being is a conqueror of all enemies. No enemy can survive against him. Jayantaha. Now, here enemy has two meanings. Enemy can mean the external enemies who have been personified as Ravana, Kumbhakarna, Hiranyakashipa, and all these multitudes of Rakshasas. All of them were defeated, were conquered, were killed by Mahavishnu. So he is called Jayantaha. Jayantaha also means one who helps us to conquer our own lower impulses, our endless desires for the sense objects, and our craving for the cruel and foolish pleasures of indulgence. So he takes care of both the external enemies, manifested as Rakshasas, Asuras, and whatever you call them, and also the internal enemies, Arishad Vargas within us. Supreme Being is omniscient and victorious. It's called Sarvavid Jayi. Now, Sarvavid Jayi, these two words are used together as a single expression. Sarvavid Jayi is one name. Now, so it means one who is victorious over all men of wisdom. Now, this is very interesting. Victorious over all the men of wisdom. And whatever wisdom we think we have, and what we prattle about, show off, flatterers of wisdom, however eloquent we may be in our discussions, we become utterly silent in that moment of samadhi, in the presence of Supreme Self. So, in the presence of Supreme Self, nobody can be called a wise person. The ultimate wisdom is of the Supreme Being, Sarva Jayi, who is at once omniscient, Sarvavik, and victorious, Jayi. With this, we'll conclude this verse. Om Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrutyorma Amrutangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.